Hi friends, it's Jessie here. Welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you are new. For today's video, we are going to wrap up October week 3 here in my budget planner. We're going to look into what I actually spent, fill in my actual columns here on my paycheck budget that we wrote together last week. We're going to go over all of the money that I spent here on my expense tracker, and we're going to fill in my weekly check-in for week 3. So if that's the type of video you're interested in, you can just keep on watching. Don't forget to click that thumbs up button if you enjoy this video. It really helps out my channel. And if you haven't done so already, I'd love it if you would click the subscribe button so you can come back for all of my videos. I post new budgeting and lifestyle content here on my channel every single week. So let's just go ahead and get started. Alright friends, so the very first thing we are going to do is start filling in my checking section here. I use the checking section to write in all of my bills or anything else that I'm going to pay using my debit card. I planned to put $690 towards bills this week. If you look here on my expense tracker, you can see that I kept track of all of my bills in this blue color, and you can see that the amount that came out in bills was actually only $478.95. We had a couple of bills that haven't cleared my account yet. I'm assuming they're going to come out next week, so we will roll those bills into next week's budget. But for now, we're looking at how much I budgeted versus how much I actually spent. So if I am under budget, I will write in black. If I am over budget, I'll write in red. That's just what I like to do to get a feeling for, how well I'm doing at a quick glance. So if I look at my paycheck budget sheet for a week and I see it all marked up in red, then I know that that was not a good week. So the first thing that I budgeted for was the $60 for my First Merchants Bank credit card, and let's see here. Okay, so it looks like I had my credit cards backwards. I have 2 credit cards left that carry a balance. One's a First Merchants Bank card, one is a Chase card. And I wrote in my budget here it was First Merchants Bank, but in my expense tracker it was Chase that I paid. So I need to double check and figure out which one of these has been paid and which one of these has still yet to be paid. But either way, I budgeted $60 and I only spent $56. So that gets written in black. Next then we have Audible. That is my husband's audiobook subscription. I budgeted $25 for it. Looking here at my expense tracker, we can see that $22.95 came out. So we are under budget there as well. My Subaru payment, I budgeted $400. The actual payment is like $385 or $390, something like that. I budgeted $400, and then when it came time to pay my bill, I just went ahead and paid $400. Why not pay a few extra dollars towards my car payment, since that's what I budgeted? So $400 is what I spent. And then the ones that have not come out yet are my motorcycle insurance and my car insurance. Both of those have not yet cleared my account. Those are automatic payments. So I'm assuming they're just going to come out probably today or tomorrow. For now, I'm just going to write in that they were actually $0, and we will add these bills to next week's budget. I still have the money set aside in the account for it, so it's not a big deal. I just need to make sure I account for it next week. So, according to my expense tracker here, the bills were $478.95. I'm going to add everything up and just double check because I'm famous for making math mistakes. So 56 plus $22.95 plus $400, $478.95. That's accurate. So we are significantly under budget here, but again, we know that that's because these 2 bills did not come out. So that's fine. So that's it for the checking section. Moving down here to cash envelopes, you can see I already wrote in actual amounts here because the amount that I budgeted was the amount that I actually put into my cash envelopes. So these numbers are always going to match. But then I double check here in my weekly check-in to see what I actually spent. So let's go ahead and do that really quickly. So for week 3, we're going to go ahead and fill this in. My categories are food, my spending, miscellaneous, and gas. So we do have more categories than that here under this cash envelope section. However, I don't keep track of my husband's spending. I give him his $40 at the start of the week and he does whatever he pleases with that. I don't keep track of that. And then I also don't keep track of my son Austin's allowance. I give that to him and much the same. He does whatever he wants with that. So I just keep track of the rest of these expenses. So my starting balance for food is the remaining balance from the previous week. So I started out with $76 in food and I added $200. According to my expense tracker, the amount that I spent in food is $205. I'm really enjoying tracking my spending on the expense tracker, by the way. It makes it really, really easy to keep track of everything. So we started with 76, we added 200, we spent 205, and that should leave us with $71 remaining. So now I'm going to go into my cash envelope here in my wallet and make sure that that is what I have. So I have my food envelope here. I still have not found my label maker. Honestly, I did not even look for it, so you know, it is what it is. And so the amount that I actually have here in my wallet is $70, not $71. That probably has something to do with change. A lot of times when I go and I pay cash and they give me change, I just stick the change here in my wallet and I round up when I write on my expense tracker. So, you know, it says I spent $15 at Burger King on the 22nd. I probably spent $14.92 there, and then for McDonald's maybe I spent $8, and the change makes up the extra $1. So it's close enough, $70 in there. I'm actually just going to go ahead and write that I have $70 because I don't want to mess anything up. So we will just say that I spent $206. Close enough. That way the numbers all match when I go to do my weekly check-in next week. But just know that likely it's just change that got tossed into my change jar. So $70 remaining for food. That'll be my starting balance then for week 4. In terms of our food spending, you guys know one of my goals for October was to eat out less and just to spend less on food in general. We're still doing quite a bit of eating out. You can see here we did Pizza Hut one night, Burger King, and then McDonald's. So realistically, we only technically ate out twice this week. We ordered the pizza together as a family, and then this Burger King was myself and my 2 children over the weekend. We kind of split up this weekend. My husband went on a hunting trip. So the kids and I had Burger King over the weekend, and my husband, while he was away, had McDonald's. So really, it's not too bad. And we also spent, you know, significantly less on groceries. Only $120 went to groceries this week. You guys know for a while there, I was spending $200, sometimes $300 on groceries. So we still spent quite a bit, $205, but it's way better than it has been. You know, food prices are going up. It's inevitable that we're going to be spending more on food, but if I can keep our spending in check, that's the goal. And I feel like we've done that, so that's awesome. All right, next up then, we have my spending. And according to my expense tracker here, I had just one transaction, so that's good. I started out the week with $5. That's what I had remaining last week. I added $40 and I spent $35. So my holiday subscription from David's Tea came out. That's technically a subscription, so it could technically fall under the umbrella of my subscription sinking fund, but I decided just to pay for it out of my spending money because, let's be real, that's primarily for me. My kids might have some of the tea, my husband might have a cup of tea, but I'm the tea hound, so it made sense to me to pull it from my spending money, especially since I had it. So then, if we started with 5 and added 40, that's 45. We spent 35, so that should mean that my envelope has $10 left in it. And you can see that's exactly what I have. So $10 will be my starting balance for next week, the last week of October. So $10 remaining there. Okay, for miscellaneous, I started last week, well, at the end of last week I had nothing left. So my starting balance for miscellaneous was $0. We added $20 for a total of $20, and then we spent $14. So we had to go to the pharmacy and pick up some stair strips. My son was involved in a little bit of a soccer incident. They were playing a kids versus parents game to kind of round out the season. The soccer season's over now, unfortunately. But he got a little too aggressive going for a header, and he smashed heads with another player, and he actually bit a hole all the way through his lip. It was pretty gruesome. It didn't bleed too much, surprisingly, but it was all the way through. You could see straight through. So we considered taking him to like urgent care or the emergency room or something, but it really wasn't bleeding very badly. He was hardly phased. He just, came out, wiped the blood off his face, and immediately got right back into the game. So we ended up just going to the pharmacy and picking up a little strip just to make sure it stayed closed. It didn't even really need it. It was just a tiny little thing. But rather than going into my sinking fund to pull out $14 for medical, we just used our miscellaneous fund since we had it. Short story turned very long. My apologies for that. So 20 minus 14, that means there should be $6 left in my miscellaneous envelope. And that is what is there. So that's all good. $6 remaining going into next week. And then lastly, we have gas. So we started the week with $22. That's what we had left over at the end of last week. We added 40 more. According to my expense tracker, we spent 40, so that means we should have 22 left in there. So let's find out. That is what we have. I love it when all my numbers match up and everything is good. Sometimes that's not always the case. So that's it then for my cash envelopes. Everything kind of matches up. We are all done then with the weekly check-in. And now we can just finish up my paycheck budget worksheet here. So all of that went as planned. The actual amounts for my sinking funds are already in. That all went as planned. You saw that if you watched that video where I stuffed my cash envelopes. Down here in my extra debt section then, we have $125 that I planned to pay to my husband's cell phone. You can see expenses here are in gray, so that's all good. 125 is what we actually paid. So everything is in the black. Everything is all good. The amount we spent on checking was $478.95. For cash envelopes, it was $350. It was $108 for sinking funds and $125 for extra debt. So then what I would do is take my income amount, which I have left blank here for privacy reasons. I would subtract out everything I spent, and that would give me a remaining total, and that amount is the amount that we will roll over into next week then. So the only other thing that I have to do here to kind of finish up week 3 is just to write in my stickers and put them here for how much I actually spent in the month or in this week. That's what I've been doing lately. I've been tracking everything individually on my expense tracker and then just writing out stickers to include here so I can see at a glance kind of where our money went. I'm going to do that off camera. I don't think you guys need to see that. You've seen me fill in my stickers a bajillion times. These are just stickers that I create myself using my silhouette portrait. And of course, all of the printables that you've seen today are printables that are available in my Etsy shop. There, I make those all myself. So we went over bills, we went over food, gas, my spending, miscellaneous, extra debt. I did also write in what we spent here on our sinking funds just to kind of help me keep track of it and make sure that I took the cash out of those sinking funds to be deposited back into the bank. But we don't really need to go over that here. That was more for my records, and we're going to go over sinking funds in a different video. In fact, that video may already be up. If it's already up, I will link it. If not, that'll be tomorrow's video. I'm not really sure what order I'm putting videos up. So that's it, friends. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please help me out and give me a thumbs up. It really helps my channel. Leave me a comment down below. Let me know. Are you guys ready for November yet? I am so ready for November. We still have one more paycheck in October to get through, but I'm psyched and ready for November. I always like a fresh start. Plus November is my birthday month. So, yeah, I'm ready. Let me know. Are you guys ready for November? Yeah, that's it. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye!